I would like to ask you 3 questions. Question 1 is, what was it like when Golden Housing was first set up, and what were your hopes, please?
It was not just starting a charity from zero, but actually it was taking a concept of something that was quite in the vanguard. It was quite exciting and new to do, because hardly any organisations had established housing for people without social housing money. And we tried to do it, and it took an enormous amount of confidence. And to Mencap's credit, they carried it through. They'd never borrowed any money. Mencap had never, ever taken out a bank loan. And they enabled me by giving me, it was £9 million initially, to really try to do something that was quite innovative. And all credit to them. You know, it was a big deal at the time. You know, there were 78 Mencap trustees that all signed up to it, and we really did try to take it forward. And the 2 people that we housed were 2 individuals. They were called Fred and Gudrun, and they were in Wiltshire. And they had had a relationship for a very long time. Fred was 64, but they'd never been able to live together. And we provided them with the first shared ownership that we did. And it was really, really wonderful. And they lived happily there for a period of time. So to go from absolutely nothing to trying to get a whole organisation to support it, it took an enormous amount of hard work and effort.
What is happening in Mencap or for the next 12 months?
We are launching Hear My Voice, which happens this week at the Houses of Parliament, which is wonderful, on Wednesday. We have the manifesto work, which is people with a learning disability talking about what they want out of next election, and that's really exciting. We have a new chair of Mencap who's arrived. His name is Derek Lewis, and he's getting to grips with what we're trying to do with the organisation. And our biggest desire is to want to re-engineer our local groups, or re-support our local groups to work alongside us. So there's lots of work around the election, lots of work around our governance structure, but then in addition to that, every day, day in, day out, all of our teams are really working hard. And I was teasing with a number of you about Twitter and social media. We get to see glimpses of what you do on a day-to-day basis, but actually everyone's working really hard to improve people's lives on a day-to-day basis. And that's a great joy.
What is your biggest achievement and why?
It is GLH. It is Golden Lane. I hope it's on my tombstone. It's the one thing that I think I'll be buried with that in the Hoover. But actually, it's the one thing that I think that I've really contributed to establish GLH. Everything else was already pre-established, but actually for this, it's the one thing that I'm most proud of in everything that I've ever done.
Right. Thank you, Steve, Jan. Thank you. The next person I'm going to interview is Neil McCall. My first question to you is, how is Golden Lane Housing going to help more people with a learning disability?
Okay, well that's a really difficult question, because central to Golden Lane helping people, as you heard from Alistair, is raising money to get new homes. And up until now, we haven't had any government grants at all, so we've just borrowed money from banks or from individuals, as you saw, through bonds. And I think one of the key things we've got to do over the next few years is try and get access to some of that government grant that other housing associations managed to get, and also talk to some existing housing associations and see whether they would transfer some of their property that they currently use to help people with learning difficulties to us, so that we can build up a bigger portfolio. And that's certainly something I'm trying with the housing association that I work for. So I think those are the ways that we'll try and get more housing into Golden Lane and more housing for people with learning disability.
Okay. My second question, what changes would you like to see to help people with a learning disability?
Well, I think the big thing for me, and you know, I kind of speak from a sort of personal position here, because I've got a son with a learning disability, and I don't think it's specifically around one area or another. So it's not just about housing, or it's not just about education, it's not just about health. It's about everything, really, and it's about society's view of people with learning disability. I just think that there is still this barrier that we need to cross about what people think when they see someone with a learning disability. And we still got to get that changed. And we see that manifested in things like instances of hate crime and bullying and things like that. So that would be the big thing for me, the society-wide view.
Okay, thank you. And the final question: who would you most like to meet and why?
Well, of course, I've already met Jan, so I can't say. I suppose next to Jan would be Alex Ferguson. That may or may not go down well. But I've always been Man U fan, and for me, he's an inspirational leader. Obviously got the most out of a group of people that maybe aren't doing as well without him. So that would be who I'd say.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, thank you very much indeed. Neil, thank you, Neil. Okay, so there were some great answers from Jan and Neil. I would like to thank you for listening. Mr. Stimson reporting from Gone In Housing News. Thank you.